So stemming back from like almost a week ago, I want to say now, 5 days ago at least. So Kevin Owens did his podcast, What Do You Want to Talk About, with Cody Rhodes. And we covered this segment on the show, actually, a longer version, like a longer clip on the show. However, there's since been an update. So I want to refresh your memories. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are talking about indie wrestlers and people who charge too much when they leave WWE, etc. And so Kevin Owens name drops a name, it gets bleeped out, and everyone's like, oh, he's talking about Ryback.
Hearing about ex-WWE guys that overestimated their appeal.
Yeah.
Just because they were coming off a WWE run. And I think, a good example. Charged insane. Hearing about.
So Ryback, I believe that's who, everybody believed he was talking about, right? And they censored it out and they joked about it. Oh, can we censor that? Da-da-da-da-da. Right? So Ryback actually responds and he fires back. So let's read this from Ringside News here. Ryback had this to say in response. So when we're talking about that, I just remember specifically hearing about ex-WWE guys that overestimated their appeal. And then Ryback said, I was made aware and saw the clip of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, two guys I always liked and got along with. It's clear they were referencing me, even with the name censored. Every promoter I worked with made money and got my full effort. Meet and greets, matches, fan time, all of it. I walked away from a multi-million-dollar WWE contract. I wasn't fired. I needed a 5-disc fusion and full right shoulder placement at 34. Bro, we know. You always say that. That's like his catchphrase. If you smell, Ryback's like 5-disc fusion and full right shoulder replacement. Not on you, dude. That sucks. But like, I'm just saying. I was told not to wrestle again. I had nerve damage that risked paralysis if I continued. I refused to put her down just to keep traveling and making more money. I already had what I needed. I wish Kevin a strong recovery, and I send both him and Cody Rhodes nothing but love, health, and continued success. Right? So that's his response to what they said. But Ryback then tweets out and says, I want to clarify something in my recent post regarding the clip with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. After speaking with Kevin, he confirmed the person referenced in that specific comment wasn't me. My name did come up in another part of the conversation, but not in that clip. I jumped to conclusions based on the name being censored and Cody mentioning working shows with the guys. Since I haven't been publicly mentioned much in years, I assumed it was about me, and I was wrong. I appreciate Kevin for the honest conversation. We always got along, and I've always respected both him and Cody. This is a reminder to ask before assuming, and I'm grateful the post brought awareness to my story regardless, as a lot has been misunderstood in the past. Much love to you both. Okay, so good. Ryback, like being a sensible dude, not having a full-blown melty like we thought he would, and he has in the past. And Ryback showing shades of like a new person, and we see more of that later on with this Punk news, which all sort of ties in full circle here. And this will be a bit of a blend right now of a WWE news, what mixed with a Sicko segment, what mixed with a Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. Oh, hell yeah. And so as we move along here, CM Punk is getting dragged by the media because of this apology. So we covered that on the show as well. And so CM Punk on SmackDown, he mimicked John Cena. A lot of people are all over it. Okay, that's fine. Getting a reaction is all that's needed, is all that's necessary. And everybody talking about it is exactly the point. We pointed out how this is something Punk has done multiple times with Jeff Hardy, Chavo Guerrero. He did it with Punk here. So this is entirely, and those were two of his most memorable feuds too in all of WWE, was Chavo for the ECW title and Jeff Hardy for the WWE title, or maybe it was the World Heavyweight. I can't remember exactly, but it's for the top belt. And they feuded, and he did this same stuff, and those are like his most memorable feuds, and Cena's one of his most memorable feuds as well. And so they did this segment, and I thought it made perfect sense, but I don't know. What do I know? So Punk is getting roasted for that, and he had a fan interaction that we watched. WWE actually made me edit out. They're on top of this, him pushing the kid. So he got heat for that when really it was the security guard pushing the kid. Okay. And was it really pushing? It was just like, hey, you can't run this way. Like, where's your parents? They shouldn't have let you run this way, that sort of thing. which is fair. You know, Punk could have stopped for him. Okay, I don't know. You don't know what his time was like then either. You don't know how many minutes he had before someone's on his ass, right? Also, he apologized to this guy in the crowd. Now, conspiracy theories are afoot. Conspiracy theories, bruv. Conspiracy theories are afoot. And so, according to Fightful Select, the extra crowd noise, there was extra crowd noise layered into the American feed to boost the atmosphere of CM Punk's John Cena shit, right? Punk's slip up on the mic was edited out as well. So this is what people are saying already. Like Fightful's coming in with the fucking conspiracy theory. Because there's just this anti-Punk. See, again, I point this out, I think, more than a lot of people in the wrestling space. We have hacky activists who are dirt sheet writers and shit, right? They wish they could be writing about politics and shit, but they're not good enough. They wish they could be writing about movies and shit, right? But they're not good enough. And they do this, whatever this weird, if you want to call it wrestling journalism, okay? You know, it's weird to say that they piped in these sounds when we have people who jumped in and were saying, this guy right here, Monarco, says, I've watched it live, replayed it on Netflix, watched it on Twitter from fans' accounts, then watched the WWE edits. It was the same. Find a job, bro. So this guy's saying it was the same. Now, I looked around a little bit myself. I didn't go deep, and I don't know. I just looked on my Netflix, and I'm in Canada, and oh, well, that is the US feed, asshole. I don't know. I don't get commercials, so no. You know what I mean? USA, you guys are saying, right? SmackDown on the USA Network? Well, it was on Netflix for me. There was no... I don't know, man. They're just making shit up, I feel like. And it's just, I don't know if WWE's leaning into, get them all hating Punk, and if Punk's down with it. But just these conspiracy theories and the flat earth talk from Meltzer about fucking, it's ridiculous, man. You would think he would have like one of these for all the conspiracy theories we hear about WWE. And then if you dare pose a conspiracy theory about AEW, how dare you, you know? Like, fuck you, you're just a e-drone, blah, 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 fucking, you know, people jumping down awful wrestling's throat and shit. It's a little odd how you can do it one way, but not the other way ever. And I'll point that out, right? People are going to make fucking silly theories up, but, you know, the fact is, like, they didn't plant that guy to make Punk apologize. So speculation has risen, okay? Because of Dave Meltzer, by the way, who floated this out there, which we're going to get to. Okay, but apparently this fan he apologized to was planted. Now, I'm going to show you examples. I mean, Jade Cargill with a fan, and here's an example of how these fans were reacting to shit. I really don't think anyone was planted. I think these dudes are just like, don't give a fuck, and they're just yelling whatever they want because they don't have to worry about getting canceled or whatever people try and do on Twitter to each other when they're virtue signaling like pussies. They don't have to worry about that there, so they don't give a shit about yelling "fuck you" to a women's wrestler or whatever, you know. Fuck you! People are like, "How dare he?" It's like, I don't know if you're. It might be illegal to talk about people's moms in that part of the world for all I know. Right? So I just think these guys don't give a fuck. Now, we watched the clip of Punk, and I don't think it was planted at all. The guy was right in the front, and they planted this guy so he could apologize. If anything, they wanted to avoid it. If anything, they don't want Punk to say anything because he might say the wrong thing. If anything, he doesn't want to even address it. That's why he didn't until now. That's why they made a fucking storyline where he's forced to chase Cena there, right? And that's why Punk is doing the protest we saw before that we covered on the show, right? He was out there protesting ICE or some shit. I don't remember. And then now he's out there. CM Punk joins the protest in Pittsburgh against UPMC's cuts to gender-affirming care, whatever the fuck that means. He is there doing this to what? Counteract this bad news because it is, I'm sorry, it's egg on his face because he talked the shit. Now he's got to back it up. And it's okay. People can change. People are allowed to change. People are allowed to change their minds on stuff. People are allowed to change their minds on politics. People are allowed to change their minds on what wrestlers they like. People are allowed to change their fucking minds and evolve as human beings. And if Punk is protesting this shit, I mean, this wouldn't be the first time a celebrity millionaire guy who's on TV every week had to do some shit to save face over here while doing some shit to get some money over there. Like, just in general, people in Hollywood do this shit all the time. Mark Ruffalo's out there like, oh man, you know, fuck America and shit. Meanwhile, the guy's like, how many dolls are they printing with his face on it of the Hulk in China and dumping the textiles in the fucking ocean and then sending over here so he can make another $100 million? You know, these like, it's not the first time celebrities will behind the scenes do shady $1 million shit and then in your face pretend like they give a fuck about whatever. And I'm not even saying Punk doesn't care about this shit. Maybe he really does, but also that money talks, and we've talked about that plenty of times. So this is why he's doing these, showing up all of a sudden, protesting. Yeah, that's why that happened for the most part. And I still like Punk. This isn't me hating on Punk. I can disagree with someone's actions or words. When he said the blood-covered dick or whatever, the blood money dick or whatever, I didn't agree with that back then. Yo, you shouldn't have said that, bro. That's wild to say that, you know? And I didn't agree with it then. And so I'll still call him out now. It's not like we're just on a hater Punk train again. And this is for the sickos and wackos out there who don't understand, like, you can be critical of something and it doesn't mean you hate that thing. Now, the conspiracy theory of, oh, there was a fan planted there not all in rather. He wishes it was all in Saudi Arabian Nights, Brian. Was this man here, Dave Meltzer's in this Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week? Flutes in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Arabian Nights, Brian. So Meltzer had this to say about CM Punk's apology, right? This is his take on the whole incident.
The other thing we got to talk about is the week CM Punk had.
You know, obviously somebody wanted him to apologize, and he did.
The week CM Punk had was the media inventing this week and blowing it out of proportion. They invented all this shit, went crazy over it, and then a bunch of dumb fucks on Twitter, you know, can't handle their emotions. Also, Meltzer's like, oh, somebody wanted him to apologize, and he did. Yeah, it's this guy named Mohammed in the front row. That's the guy who wanted him to apologize.
The other thing we got to talk about is the week CM Punk had.
You know, obviously somebody wanted him to apologize, and he did. Because he's not exactly the apologetic type, for one thing. And if you're going to apologize, I mean, I don't know if this is the thing you apologize for, given his, you know, political viewpoints and everything, but, you know, it's money and it's wrestling, and you don't expect wrestlers to have morals. And I'm not saying no wrestlers have morals, but you don't expect it. And they did not protect him at all. They ran an angle that made.
See, and Dave just, again, a Freudian slip, right? My man is saying, like, it's wrestling. You don't expect people to have morals. And right there, he's just stooging like, Dave, you don't have morals. That's why you report people's deaths before they died and fucking get families stressed out and distraught. You know what I mean? Like, you're stooging yourself. You've been in this business longer than fucking most, dude.
And it's wrestling, and you don't expect wrestlers to have morals. And
you've been working marks fucking longer than most of these dudes have, you know?
I'm not saying no wrestlers have morals, but you don't expect it. And they did not protect him at all. They ran an angle that made him look bad.
No, they didn't run an angle that made him look bad. They're not protecting Punk. They're burying and punishing Punk for this in Saudi. Okay, then why did Solo just like mutilate Cena in Saudi? It's just so stupid, man.
They did this they made him apologize. Triple H was like, oh, you know, it's like, it's
Triple H was like, oh, it's like actually, Brian, Triple H was like, hold on while I make this up really quick. The
best guy's Tony Khan.
Fucking Dave, man. Triple H, they made him apologize, I think. I'm making up right now. And Triple H was like, let me just make up this thing he said that he didn't say.
They did this they made him apologize. Triple H was like, oh, you know, it's like, it's so grown up of him to apologize. And it's like, really, I thought he came off just horrible.
The other thing we got to.
Yeah, Dave, you come off horrible, though. You're that guy. You're the one who, like, thinks everyone's dumb around when you're the dumbass. You're the one that everyone's like, ugh, Dave's here. Fuck. Oh, he came off mature for apologizing. He did, man. Dave, you don't apologize and you're not mature and you don't understand why that's what men do when they fuck up. They apologize. I've done it on this show. You're ridiculous, Dave. You're utterly ridiculous. So that's like his take on it, right? And he sort of, he sort of is the one who floated out the conspiracy theory in the first place that they made him apologize and right? And so, furthermore, Dave Meltzer had this to say about the match, I guess. He critiques John Cena and CM Punk's spinning neckbreaker spot after having taken dance lessons for 2 weeks. So Meltzer said what? Points out, I guess, that Dave Meltzer's been taking he sent this to me and he sent me a poll and he's like, you need to vote. It's down to the wire and you haven't voted yet. I need your vote on what to call Dave Meltzer, Dancing Dynamite Dave or whatever. I don't fucking know, but this is Meltzer Inferno to a T.
Learn Meltzer Inferno.
Right? So let's listen to this clip here.
Like everything they did, I mean, it was very predictable. If you watch WWE matches, you basically, the new thing is that you rely on your few moves and you do them over and
over. Listen to how Dave's critiquing Cena and Punk. Oh, if you rely on your few moves and you do them over and over, and it's just what to expect when you watch wrestling. WWE. Oh, you mean wrestling? Real wrestling? So when Ospreay just relies on the same fucking 6 moves and everyone kicks out of them, and then he eats his opponent's same 6 moves and everyone kicks out of them, and it's going to be an 18-minute flip fest, he doesn't have the same critique. Just like, okay, when everyone kicks out of finishers, I bury it. I bury it when Punk does it. I bury it when everyone does that shit, when it's too much. Okay? I've gone off on Rollins and Punk. I stay consistent. Dave, you have no consistency in your criticisms. Criticize AEW for the same thing. I hate to always make it about AEW, but we have to never relent on Dave's biases and pointing them out in hypocrisy. We have to continue to do that. Sorry, moving along.
You basically, the new thing is that you rely on your few moves and you do them over and over and over again, and that's what they did. And they both can do those well.
It's not the new thing. That's what wrestling in every big draw has always been. Austin did the fucking stomps, the Thez press, the elbow, and he did the stunner, bro. Cena did the fucking 5 move. He did the shoulder tackle. He did the back, the proto bomb or whatever, the back suplex bomb, the shuffle, and he did the fucking FU and the STFU. That's what pro wrestling is, Dave. I don't know Hogan. He did the axe bomber. He had the boot. He dropped the leg. He hit you with a scoop slam. The back rake he'd throw in there when he's right. That's what fucking wrestling is, Dave. I thought you studied the business.
Oh, so that was fine.
What are you saying? That was fine. Okay.
Everything else in the match looked good. They were good. The only thing, and they actually did the spot twice, once early and once later, was this spinning neckbreaker spot that Punk does. And okay, because I actually just started dance class like 2 weeks ago, so I'm doing.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I started dance class 2 weeks ago.
Baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
Oh my god! Chat, what the fuck? Dave's about to analyze this neck breaker based off the dance lessons he took 2 weeks ago. Holy shit.
What? You fucking mark!
What the fuck?
Wrestling's not fake!
Dude, holy shit. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? That's like watching The Simpsons and you saying, oh, I took art lessons 2 weeks ago and the animation style, actually, how it works. That's what that's like, bro. That is insane.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
What the fuck? Listen to this.
Actually, because I actually just started dance class like 2 weeks ago. So I'm doing dance lessons, right? Oh my God. Okay. So both times it was just like, I'm watching this going like, God, this was me week 1 of dance lessons.
Oh my God, Dave. So week 2, you're so much more. He's so much better. Week 2, I'm phenomenal. Week 2, I'm 30% better in week 2, Brian.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Burn, baby, burn. Oh my God, man.
That's how bad that neckbreaker looked. And it's not even me in
week 1 of dance lessons. I was 30% less good a week ago. What the fuck? My key demo was much better in my dance lessons last week, Brian. What the fuck is he talking about? So week 2, he's just in he's the Jabberwockies, you know? He's in a dance crew. You're gonna be on So You Think You Can Dance next week. I mean, I'm really getting ready for Dancing with the Stars, Brian. All the Meltzer stars. Yes. Oh my God, Dancing with My Stars. Oh, dude, that shit is amazing, man. That shit is incredible.
2, I go, like, week 2, I'm already better than this. Like, they were so slow. Everything else was good, but man, that neckbreaker, it's like everything else was good, but man, that neckbreaker, it's like they were 2 guys that were like that. They it's like 2 guys like doing a move.
It's like, I can't really even think of like what the thing is that, I'm trying to say, because I'm just like, no, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying, Brian. I do disco now. I do the salsa. I learned to tango.
Everything else was good, but man, that neckbreaker, it's like they were 2 guys that were like that. It's like 2 guys like doing a move that for whatever reason, those 2 guys shouldn't be doing. And then they went and did it a second time, and it looked even worse the second time. It's just like, oh,
Dave, as you'll learn in dance class, if at first you don't succeed,
won't hurt to buy some weed, to smoke some weed.
Again.
No, yeah.
At first you don't succeed, won't hurt to smoke some weed. Who's with me?
Do it, but you would think that like you're in, it's like if you're out there in front of a pay-per-view audience, you should be smoother, because it really did look like guys in their first day of training for that one move.
One move,
very professional, but man, that neckbreaker.
For the one move, so he just is ultra dissecting one move. And he's sitting there saying, fucking, it looked like guys in their first day of training. He's done dance lessons, and Meltzer's talking about first day of wrestling training. Like, he knows. Like, he's ever fucking been there.
Poor people don't like AEW.
He's sitting there talking about this like he's ever done it, saying, oh, it looks like people in their first day of training. Of training what? The twist, you old son of a bitch. I'm trying to think of the Humpty Dance, but motherfucker, what are you talking about? Training what? Pro wrestling? You've never done that. You don't know what people do on their first day, Dave. You're talking out of your ass, and this is ridiculous. And then to dissect and say, well, this one move looked like first day of my ballet training. Okay, so they fucked up a move in a match. Their footwork was a little off. Where's your critique when dudes in AEW go for poison ranas and why aren't you talking about? So it's not okay when people are like, this is cheerleading, right? You don't call that out when it looks like bad cheerleading, but you're calling this out because it looked like bad. You're like fucking doing the hoedown on the weekend, you're learning how to fucking do the 2-step and the cowboy boogie. Grab your sweetheart, then spin her around, do the hoedown, then right? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Dave? What a kooky son of a bitch, man. I really hope this clip goes more viral than it has. It really hasn't been shared around as much as I think this clip needs to be shared around. This is fucking insane, dude. This is crazy. This is like these folks are losing their shit. They're deranged. Fucking Punk broke their brains. TKO, WWE, and all their success broke their brains. The Saudi shit broke their brains. Everything's just, they're malfunctioning.
You must try again.
No, yeah, you do it, but you would think that like you're in, it's like,
Dave, you would think you wouldn't even compare this. This is like me saying, oh, I went to football practice and I can't believe John Cena's shoulder tackle wasn't. Shut the fuck up, you clown. What the fuck is this guy even talking about, man? It's complete and utter madness. It is other madness. It's otherworldly, the madness. Let's try and get through this clip.
If you're out there in front of a pay-per-view audience, you should be smoother, because it really did look like guys in their first day of training for that one move.
Dave's never wrestled.
The rest of the match was very professional, but man, that neckbreaker spot twice was just like really.
And the only rumor, do you know what the rumor is that Dave's floated out there? Like, the people have asked us, Dave trained wrestling and shit. Apparently in Japan, he did some training. I swear to God, that's like the lie that's out there about him. That he floated out there. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure Meltzer said that. It's unconfirmed, but like he's claimed that he's done a bit of training in Japan and shit. And it's like, of course he'd say that. It's like these fake McDojo black belts, like these dudes with fake fucking jujitsu black belts. Like back in the day, that's the thing too. Meltzer comes from an era where back in the day you could do that shit. You can't do that shit in 2025. People pull your card,
Awkward. I don't even think it was Punk's fault. I think it was like Cena's that just doesn't know how to take it or something.
Cena doesn't know how to take the neckbreaker move that he's taken for fucking 20 years against CM Punk. He doesn't know how to take the move that I've seen him take 4,000 times. But it's been a decade, 14 years since their last match, 15 years or whatever since their last match. And this is Dave's assessment of it. He just doesn't know how to take a fucking neckbreaker. You can't make this up.
It was, man. It was that should be. I don't have to worry about it though, because it's like they're never going to do another match. So I would say, like, next time you do the match, don't do it. But they're never doing.
Dave, shut the fuck up. How is this even a critique? So he says, man, this was an amazing wrestling match, but they kind of just do 4 or 5 moves. But like, that's really great. But like, this one move they did was so bad, it looked like my first day of salsa class. What are you talking about? Whoa, people give this guy money, guys. What the fuck?
Another match anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right, before we get...
Oh, man, yeah, his ego is so out of whack. His ego is so out of whack, man. He thinks he can tell fucking wrestlers how to wrestle. He thinks he can tell Cena and Punk how to wrestle. That's how far his ego's gone, right? Which leads us into the Sickos segment portion of this story, right? This long segment we've been doing to open the show. So Awful Wrestling, right? Speaking about Saudi and everybody's brains breaking, Awful Wrestling posted just a week ago, people were screeching for the WWE to cancel the Saudi show based on nothing but emotion. No intel outside of CNN, no sense of politics, just noise. Now, again, I mean, it's easy for people to say this now in hindsight. A lot of people just weren't saying shit, but at the time, I mean, I was out there saying it, man, and had people who follow me like, shut the fuck up, man, don't talk politics, man, when really I'm just like, no, I'm just pointing out like what's going on in this situation. And again, Phil, don't miss, man, like it went off well, and they're posting like these dumbass maps. Look where this nuclear facility is, look where Israel is, look where Saudi is. And they have no idea of, like, you might as well pull up, like I said, a flat earth map and go, hey, this is where this is. Like this, they don't understand the geopolitics, and you don't have to. I'm not geopolitical either, but like, okay, they're not going to attack Saudi. They'd have done it before. This already have gone down. They wouldn't have talked all this shit. They would have just attacked UFC and shit. Why would they be hyper focused on, pardon me, WWE either? Well, they said all Americans. Well, why would they say anything? We pointed all this out. UFC was there in Baku, Azerbaijan. Also, I think WWE just fucked up because they got the crowds cheering JD and Finn, who are now baby faces. So just does the entire Judgment Day do a face switch now? Like they just did a heel match. I don't know, man. I'm glad the crowd reacted huge for that. And do they just keep everyone tweeners? I don't know, man. But that's going to break my brain. Speaking of brains breaking, though, Chris Ketchum said, absolutely no way anyone in their right mind is going to show up at Night of Champions. Cancel the damn show and give refunds. And everyone showed up. Everyone showed up. This guy says, if there was ever a time for WWE to cancel a Saudi Arabia show, now is the time. They're seriously about to send their entire roster right here in a week. Matt Kane says, I was texting with friends on the plane in Saudi that one day, so of course I want WWE to cancel the show. And of course they won't. They haven't changed, bro. AEW blog. We need to cancel the Saudi Arabia shows. I personally don't agree with any wrestling company going places where innocent individuals are going to be at risk, man. Wrestles and employees' health and safety should always come first. Wild. So just terrible takes, right? And this does circle back to Ryback, right? And everybody, these hack activists, they just want to make it about them, like Ryan Satin, who, you know, is spazzing out about fucking CM Punk. And then he has this to say: we literally worked as talent on the same show. We literally worked as talent on the same TV show together just a few years ago. I promise you, he knows who I am, and he remembers everything about our beef. Our beef. You're one-sided, like Satin trying to be fucking feel important again. Make this about him. It's this sociopath that you see. Social media has created this sort of like sociopath that you see where people think that because they have shit to say, it matters or it should be said, you know? And everything's about them. They can't escape this bubble of like self-importance and stuff like that. Right. So again, just more Punk drama we see here. And so Brandon Thurston posted this 8 hours ago before we come on the air here. And Brandon Thurston says, new, an inspiring moment of self-realization in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia as CM Punk courageously aligns himself with a visionary government that criminalizes being gay and occasionally kills its critics. Oh my God.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh my God, Thurston. I quote tweeted this. I was like, I can't wait till the Saudis offer him $1 million to shut the fuck up. And he's just bitter because he's not allowed at the WWE shows. We played the show or the clip of his show where he's crying about, we didn't get press passes. He's such a wiener, dude. He's such a wiener dog. And, you know, Thurston, man, he just writes this fucking opinion: from defiance to dignity, CM Punk's redemptive turn towards nihilism. And he's trying to play it like, yeah, isn't this cool that was criticizing this government and inserting his cultural beliefs on this government who just want to pay him millions of dollars to wrestle before, when he was in a dumbass company where there's no checks and balances. And now they look at him. They criminalize being gay and they kill their critics. It's so ridiculous, man. Yeah, and women can't drive there either. What are you going to fucking, you know, if they tried to give you $3 million, Brandon, you'd go. You'd write a fluff piece about it. Like, stop. And again, he gets called out on his hypocrisy. He gets fucking wake and bake, dude. So look at this shit. JD from NY responds with a screen grab of Ryback, who's defending Punk here. Ryback quote tweets this and said, I've had my issues with Punk, but I don't see him as a sellout. He returned to do what he loves and to make money, much like you're doing by writing critical think pieces about others for clicks. Boom! Boom! I can't stand this whole thing where journalists use, like, quote unquote journalists. They'll put out tweets with like 7-word headlines, but then they're mad about my YouTube videos. Like, we're all playing the same game, you assholes. It's about quality of content. That's the thing. When people click on my shit, they leave entertained, or they leave like their opinion might be changed, or maybe they want to refute my point, and you can make it fun. They leave your shit, and motherfuckers are just making these claims or writing these opinions that are so biasly one-sided constantly and like in a biased way. Now, you might say, oh, come on now, Phil, you're always trashing shit in AEW. Well, lately I've been trashing a lot of WWE shit too. And lately I've been fucking trying to put over as much AEW shit as possible because I feel bad. I feel like secondhand embarrassment for All In. I gotta be honest. I feel like embarrassed. I really do. It's like, fuck you. Like, Tony, you really messed this up bad, didn't you? Like, it should be a bigger attendance than the UK, man, for this All In shit, you know, if we're to believe all the hype. But anyways, not to make it about that, but it is a bit about that because the AEW stuff made Punk realize that the grass is actually greener back home in WWE, and it made him see, holy shit, this vision might be the way, you know? But anyways, Ryback says WWE is a global business, and working at that level means navigating complex deals. Exactly, Thurston. You're tweeting this out on an iPhone that has lithium batteries that were like blood diamond mined from fucking kids in Africa or whatever, and the phones were made in sweatshops with slave labor, and where people are being held in internment camps in China, allegedly. That's the rumors out there, right? I'm not right, and that's all I'm saying. Like, they have nets around buildings so people don't jump out of fucking windows and stuff. You're not saying, and you're tweeting this out wearing a shirt that was probably like made in China in a fucking sweatshop somewhere. You probably bought Nikes. You know what I mean, dude? You're on a phone, you're using the internet and all this stuff to complain about CM Punk because what? Because he's bitch slapped all you guys for lying about him in the past. Or because you're virtue signaling. What you really want to do is get in the political sphere and talk politics, but you're too much of a hack to do that. And you know that, right? And I know this because I work in real fucking media. I don't take these people fucking serious. That's what they got to understand, okay? I've never come across people who think they're more legit. Like, could you imagine any of these hacks trying to make it in actual sports or actual, even entertainment, even like covering movies and shit? Even that medium's fallen off completely. And almost anybody can get gigs doing that. And they're too hacked to do those. I promise you, because they'd be doing it. Whatever. If it's a political thing, then that's his opinion. But just to be, it's just like the schmarminess. That's why it unleashed me. Okay, guys? I'm the result of like what the sheets, just the condescending, shitty Dave Meltzer. Well, my dance lessons, I'll tell you how to do a neckbreaker. Thurston. Oh, you know, man, the Saudi Arabia Punk courageously aligned himself with a government that being gay is illegal over in that culture, and my culture's better. Oh, that sounds xenophobic, Brandon. Are you xenophobic? That sounds racialist. You don't like their culture and their religion or what over there? That's weird, man. See how we can just do the virtue signal? You will eat yourselves alive doing this cancel pig shit. Nobody can fucking live up to these fake standards that these hack activists, wannabe fucking journalists have set. And this is why people have to apologize for jokes, because now you're not allowed to be funny. You're the news now. So I tried to point this out. I've been pointing it out now since the beginning of PWT. And that's why PWT Universe is growing so greatly. And that's why this show's taken off like crazy, man. His apology wasn't about abandoning values. It was about how he expressed them publicly in ways that hurt professional relationships. Exactly. When you're Thurston, you don't apologize for fuck-ups. You just make excuses and delete and then act like it didn't happen. Like what Dave Meltzer does, which we just covered before in this segment. Dave Meltzer does not apologize. He just keeps piling more shit on top and hoping you don't remember the bullshit from before. Just put more shit on top of that bullshit, and then that bullshit eventually is unseen in this pile of shit. But ultimately, it's still stinky, and it's still there, and eventually you got to clean it up. And so that's what you guys don't understand. Punk was apologizing. I've done it on this show. You guys know, where it's like I was like, yo, I talk shit about this person in maybe a way that is like, you know, we're professionals here. We got to, you know what I mean? I'm broadcasting here. There is a level of professionalism I got to keep, even as a guy who, you know, I don't work for the sponsors. I don't have any sponsorships yet. Oh, come on. That's not very fair. PWT doesn't have a fucking sponsorship. Eric? Yeah, that's exactly it, man. It wasn't about abandoning his core values as a human being. It was about how he expressed them and what he said in the heat of the moment. It was the heat of the moment. And thank gosh Ryback understands that, and that's why they'll work it out, hopefully. And yeah, people, even JD's like, Ryback defending Punk, this is like the Joker joining Batman's book club. It's true. It wasn't on my fucking bingo card for 2025, man. But hopefully Ryback understands and Punk understands that's both why Ryback and Punk said the shit about each other that they did in the heat of the moment, the decade plus ago or whatever as well. And so that was actually cool to see. But Brandon Thurston, why didn't he report on this from the Toronto Sun, or Toronto Life rather? Toronto's Four Seasons Hotel, formerly owned by a Saudi prince, has sold to a billionaire sports magnate. What is that word? Magnate. What is that? Like a fucking cocktail? Oh, go. So yeah, man, Saudi Prince Tony Khan's dad does deals with the Saudis. He does deals with Trump folk and donates to them. So again, these people don't, whether it's politically motivated or whatever, they don't keep the same energy for AW though. And that's why I don't believe it's fully politically motivated. I truly think it's this AEW thing where people just want to see WWE die because they spent so long shitting on it, and they're just stuck in this way where they can't accept, like, no, this thing that was supposed to eliminate WWE is now the shits, and we have to just put these dumbass fucking stories out there to try and just like subvert from fucking real issues or what stories are on the other side or how bad this business is doing after we spurg out so hard trying to prove how good it's doing, you know? And so Thurston responds to Ryback and says, I've given it some thought, and I do see your point. In today's global marketplace, partnering with murderous autocracies for $50 million per show is unavoidable. Everyone's doing it, so it's okay. Calling that blood money, even if fair, is rude and, more importantly, bad for business. So again, just Thurston, I'm sorry, buddy. You're completely coping.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
I can't wait until AEW does a show in Saudi Arabia, or the prospect of that opens up. And I know it likely won't happen with the business they're doing and with the ties WWE and TKO have over there. And I don't know if Tony Khan would do it, but if the money was there, he'd do it. We know that, right? He doesn't give a fuck about anything other than the money, for the most part. Well, no, some people will say he doesn't care about money. Like, that's why he just does these shows. And they are right about that. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about money. But Dave Meltzer, I should say, and the dirt sheets care about the numbers and the money, is what I should be saying. Like, anytime there's $1 million gate, even though that's nothing, like, compared to WWE, they're like, oh, $1 million gate, even Tony Khan, right? So they care about the money when, I guess, it convenes them or when they can try and flex it, but like he doesn't care about spending money. Okay, so I guess I should try and define these two things, because it is a nuanced issue when it comes to Tony Khan, right? And Dave Meltzer and these guys, because it's a good for me, not for thee. So when you're dealing with hypocrisy, me trying to explain it's going to sound fucking hypocritical, just automatically, because we can't, there's no way to fucking present it any other way. And so anyways, they care about the numbers when it convenes them. So I can't wait till AEW does a Saudi show or something like that, or the Khans do another deal with some Saudi or some Chinese fucking whatever. I can't wait till that happens, and then see how Thurston and them react to this shit. And then see how they try and put a spin on it and how it's different and da-da-da-da-da. Again, it's just never keeping the same energy. And it's utterly ridiculous. And Brandon, I mean, bro, you couldn't be more thirsty. And this is, don't get it twisted, this show they thought was going to be like a, yes, we got them, we can put pressure on them to cancel something. You can't. We put pressure on them to re-sign Truth. No, you didn't. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you guys. Maybe the live audiences did and shit, but you guys were saying, don't go to these shows. And the people online are making all this noise, but the people in the buildings are like, we got to bring Truth back, or they worked us, right? And it's the same with this Saudi shit. Why didn't they listen to you guys here? Well, it's the money. It's $50 million. Okay, but they listen to you to spend another $1 million to get Truth back then? Is that what you're saying? They don't keep the same energy. There's no consistency in the bullshit because it's just bullshit. And they just wanted this week to be like an attack on Punk, a smear campaign. They thought the Sickos would come out more in droves, but they don't care. They don't really care. And it's just the same old like AEW fan 10110. And then they're like, oh, WWE tribalists. And it's like, do you not see what your whole fucking account is? Like, what are you talking about? And yeah, they just thought this would be a big PR disaster and nightmare. And now that it's all blown over right before Raw's about to go on during the day, Thurston's going to fucking drop this article to kick the week off as well. Well, WWE knows it's just weekend noise and Punk knows it'll all blow over this weekend. That's what they're hoping. So Monday, I'm going to drop this bullshit. And then even his own comments are just roasting him. And then the people liking it just like it, but they won't stand on business because they know they're full of shit. And they're mostly demented people. I assure you of that. And yeah, it wasn't a nightmare. And they're trying to get everybody on AEW side before this All-In show. That's really all this is. And ladies and gentlemen, that was a very, very long podcast worthy. I might drop that as a PWT podcast special. That was a WWE news. So we'll play a breaking news. It was a Sicko segment. And it was a Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. And round of applause for me for fucking crushing that. What a home run. What a home run.